Hello, Internet. Somehow I'm always surprised by the camera switching to me, even though I know exactly what's going to happen. Hi, I'm Matt. I'm the GM here at Telling Tales. Apparently, my greeting was incredibly loud, so apologize for that. Yeah, we're going to be running Symbaroum tonight, like we do every Wednesday, the dark fantasy role-playing game from Fria Ligan, and we'll hope you'll sit down and enjoy our cheery, happy tale of horrific murders in a horrible fantasy landscape. I just have a flood now of people in private chat telling me how much my greeting terrified them. So that's good. I'll move the mic back a bit. Let's say hello to John. John is our stream manager, and he, as always, helps us with maintaining the stream, flashing up pictures, shuffling people around, and all that stuff. How you doing, John? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I was one of those people. I legit jumped.
I did move.
I'm the one who clicks you on, and it still surprised me.
Yeah, I did move my mic forward. So obviously, look, horrible errors have been made, and we'll just have to try and claw our way back from them. That's just how life is.
We'll never recover.
No, probably not. So let's kick off. Let's kick John back off to the shadows from whence he came, and bring on our players one by one. First off, let's have Chris, who plays Steo, the dogged mercenary, dogged, harangued, aging mercenary. Well, not mercenary, soldier turned city guard. Steo. So when we saw you guys last time, Chris, in your hunt for the fiendish murderer within Thistlehold, the Flayer, one of the leads you've been given had led you to the home of Mayor Nightpitch, Mayor Lassifor Nightpitch. And why don't you tell us exactly how that went?
Well, it went much better than Steo was expecting it to go, but we went in and kind of presented him with the letter that we had discovered indicating linking Nightpitch to the crown, at least in terms of him having seen it. And it turns out he was indeed well aware of the artifact, was wise enough not to touch it, or at least had informed us so, and was very much concerned about the outcome. I don't recall him offering us anything specific that we didn't kind of already know, insofar as that we were going to have to go and find the guy.
No, I think he did. He did. Perhaps he was the one who planted the idea in your minds that maybe the Flayer had killed Vernum and worn his skin in order to gain access to some kind of location that Vernum would have unique access to, which you determined was the Ordo Magica.
That sent us down the road, literally next door to the academy.
To the academy. And although I was planning to bring on a certain order, but I think I said that wrong, and I think the order you're suggesting is the correct one. So why don't we bring on Elle, who plays Ephanea, our strapping barbarian warrior lady who chops everything into bits. And she can let us know how the visit to the Ordo Magica went.
Yeah, so, we were greeted by the world's crankiest goblin with the world's best voice acting. And we eventually, I think, wasn't it? Yeah, we did that, and then he told us to come back in 6 hours. And when we did, we were greeted by Euphrinda, who was a member of the Order Magica, a master, I think, who took us up to, I can't remember which room specifically.
The ritual chamber. The
ritual chamber, which is why we needed her. And she basically informed us that the Flayer had checked out a certain book that I think he still has on their person, which sadly the name also escapes me.
It was a book. It contained a ritual that had something to do with breaking links.
Yes, and so that's what we found in the Ordo Magica. Spooky things are going on.
Indeed. And in the meantime as well, kind of interwoven in this, because it took you a while to actually get proper access to the Ordo Magica, there was another murder. Someone had been sus, but not in navigation or electrical or engineering, but instead in a stable just off Toad's Square. And why don't we bring on Sam, our resident rangeling, to tell us all about that?
Well, we were in the square. I think this was in a gap between when we got to the Automagica and when they were going to let us in.
I think so as well.
And we went to the square looking for a person mentioned previously. We didn't find him, but when we were there was a big commotion, and we kind of pushed our way through the crowd and found that one of the guards had caught the Flayer mid-flaying, embarrassingly, really. And
if you're called the Flayer and you're caught mid-flay, that must be,
yeah, not good.
Like a mum walking in on her teenage son.
Yes. On her teenage son flaying someone. Yes.
Yes.
But only halfway done. So we got to look at the body. It seemed like it was just kind of a stable boy. So we assumed that he was probably just trying to get out of his Master Vernum skin. And we tracked his kind of a trail across the square and up onto a roof, but then it went cold. Mm-hmm. But it did give us some kind of indication that he was in an area, I think you called Halaban's Ring.
Correct. It's the street surrounding Toad Square.
Based on where we found Master Vernon's body and where the trail there and the trail here, we kind of had some idea.
Kind of pointing in roughly the same direction. And then in the meantime as well, Steele had also gone to his boss, Dirac, in the town guard, who said he was going to go look up some details about the first victim, Gerek, because essentially you'd figured out that each time a body is found, the skin that's found with it is from the previous victim, because the Flayer is changing their appearance by wearing these skins. And then it therefore occurred to you that you don't know where Gerek's body is, the first victim, because, the body that was assumed to be his was someone else's body with his skin. So, fun times. We're running a really grim adventure. So basically you went to talk to Dirac about where Gerek might have been, and you found out that at one point you knew that he was known for having run a small little smuggling operation out of a closed down trading post once run by a legitimate company called the Blue Moon. And I believe that is more or less up to date for our adventurers in Thistlehold. But meanwhile, let's bring on Mike, aka Anton, who's over in the village of Glimmervan, where he has discovered essentially that the individual that the rest of them think is their witch hunter ally, Baumello, probably isn't Baumello.
Yeah, I think it's a chap called Darko, who's a sort of a young, weird soothsayer type who's from Glimmervan and was doing some strange cultish things in Glimmervan. And I suspect that he's been experimenting with his dark magic, attracted the attention of Baumello, and a fight has ensued. Baumello ended up getting stabbed in the back, and Darko, I think, has taken on Baumello's form and has set off to Thistlehold. So, bad times if you are Baumello.
Bad times indeed. For all of you, really, I think it's valid to say. So that more or less brings us up to date, I think. But we're going to start this week, because we obviously ended on a cliffhanger of the three in Thistlehold going off to a potentially dangerous location, backed up by Baumello. So let's start with a scene with Mike, shall we? Drag out that tension a little bit longer. So if we can shuffle everyone else on. Hi, Mike.
Hi, Matt.
How are you doing?
Doing good.
Good, good. So, where we left Anton it was kind of late afternoon, early evening, I believe, in the Glimmervan Inn in Glimmervan, where you'd mostly been spending the day being mildly irritated by Blackhawk, the one of Ambria's preeminent minstrels, asterisk, and just trying to spend the night there, really, because essentially, as I think we discussed, Anton isn't really aware of the Balmello situation in Thistlehold, so he's not probably too worried.
Yeah, I think all he knows is that Balmello's heavies were causing some trouble, but I don't think that he would view this situation as an oh my goodness, there's a massive degree of urgency here.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So
I'm just putting my feet up, enjoying some
absolutely
beautiful songs by my best buddy Blackhawk,
best friend Blackhawk. So there you are. There you are. You've eaten some food, and you're sort of quite tired after the draining day you've had now of, sort of investigating. And it's odd, you didn't know the man well, but you certainly knew him well enough to be quite alarmed at unexpectedly finding his quite horrible corpse.
Yeah, and I think also feeling a little bit sort of unsure and a bit unsafe in my surroundings, because I am in a place that I don't know, and I'm aware that Odarko, was from here, and Balmello was not liked here, and then there were, some strange goings on. So I think I probably don't want to draw too much attention to myself.
Probably not, no. And with that regard, you do notice a couple of people dressed in Thistlehold City Guard uniforms walking in to the Glimmervan Inn and kind of shaking themselves off. There's kind of a fine rain coming down outside now. And kind of looking around at various places. The inn is really filled up now it's hit the evening, because basically everyone from Glimmervan itself and the surrounding farms just comes here probably every single night. And the reception for Blackhawk is actually very good. He's genuinely quite a good minstrel, and these people don't get a huge amount of entertainment out here, so it's party time in Glimmervan. And with that in mind, there aren't many other seats available. And one of the city guard kind of wanders over, and she kind of leans over to you and says, "Good father, are these? Can we sit at your table?"
By all means, take a seat, warm yourselves, dry yourselves. She
thanks you and kind of wanders over to get some food and drink. One of the others with her, who's quite... most of the city guard in Thistlehold are veterans of the war, but they've obviously having started to recruit new ones, because the old ones are starting to die off, honestly. So, and one of the ones is next to you, a young lad. You'd be surprised if he's 17, and he kind of sits down and sort of flashes you a friendly grin, and then kind of does a slight double take and says, "Father, you're Steo's friend, aren't you?"
Yeah, I am. Do I know you?
Oh no, I don't think so. We've just seen you around with him. The old he's quite the character.
Yeah, that he is.
He kind of leans over to you and says, "Just between you and me, Father, me and a couple of the other guards, we have a bit of an ongoing bet on how many times he's going to complain about the guard duty in one day."
And may I ask how much you have staked on this particular bet?
Oh, just not much, just a few Ortegs. It's nothing serious, Father, but just between you and me again, I'm ahead, and I think I'm going to stay that way.
It's an old man's right to complain about the job that he does.
He kind of raises a drink to you now that they've come over and says, "And it's the young's right to complain about it." He kind of toasts you and says, "I'm surprised you're out here then, Father. They're your friends. They're looking for the Flayer, aren't they, in Thistlehold?
So just to pause for a sec, when I left, I don't think I was aware of the Flayer, was I?
You were aware of the Flayer because
Okay.
Master Vernum had come to
That's right.
and
Yeah.
it. I don't think you knew that they were digging into it
No.
really avidly, but I think you got the impression that they may start to do so because I think you were present for some conversations that had linked the Crown perhaps to the murders. So
Yeah. Okay.
It would seem a natural thing for you, a conclusion for you to maybe come to.
Sure. And how are they getting on with that task, Steer and his companions?
No idea, if I'm honest with you, but he turns to the woman who originally asked you and says, you said today you saw them at night home? She nods and says, apparently they went to speak to Night Pitch.
I feel like I'd know who Night Pitch was and the significance of that. Definitely. So yeah, okay. Wow. This is a big responsibility for Steo. If it's taken on such importance in Thistlehold.
Aye, and well, good luck to him, I say. Especially with the people he's running with now. That witch hunter's not to be trifled with.
Right. Balmello.
He was walking around with them today. Toad Square. I think I saw them in the Ordo Magica.
Okay. I thank you for telling me that news. Is how Balmello? Someone you know personally?
No. Thank Prios.
Yes. Well, I must leave as a matter of urgency. So if you'll excuse me, I will settle up and make my way back to Thistlehold. Yes, thank you very much. Have a good evening.
They look a bit confused and go, all right, Father, travel well.
Yeah, straight to gather my belongings, pay my bill, get on the horse.
Sure. It's it's a cloudier evening now, definitely more so than it was kind of yesterday. So how are you going to light your way? It's not an impossible task even to navigate in relative darkness, but are you going to make any attempts to do that, or are your priorities just get to that horse, point horse in the right direction, and ride as fast as you can?
If it's raining lightly, as you said it was, there's going to be clouds. I'm not going to be able to navigate by moons or stars or anything like that. I'm going to need.
But it won't be like pitch black, but it will be dark.
I'm going to need something to light my way. I'm going to need a torch, and I'm not going to be able to sort of gallop at pace. So I need to follow the path that I know.
Absolutely. Well, why don't you give me a cunning roll, and I'll give you a +1 to it because at least you know the pathway and stuff like that. This isn't for you to navigate. This is for you to figure out the best way to do it.
Okay, I get it.
Okay. You're pretty sure if you can just find some spare fabric, even just ripped off the bottom of your robe, and there's driftwood. It's not raining hard enough to put out a torch. Okay. You're sure you can scrape together the various things, or maybe you can even ask someone in. The trading post is still open.
Okay,
perhaps,
yeah,
I'll
go and do that because I've already ripped the bottom of my robe at least once before so far.
To bandage someone's, yeah.
I don't want to just be bottomless for the rest of this adventure.
It might take away some of your gravitas if you show your gravitas. So, terrible. That's you. Let's say you can go talk to Demion, the man who runs the trading post, who helped you look at the ruin, and try and get some kind of light help with that. Like maybe a torch he can get you, and then ride hard for Thistlehold, and that's pretty much the plan.
That is the plan.
That's the plan. Okay, let's wave goodbye to Mike for now, and bring on everyone else? Hey, there they are.
Hey.
So, where we left you guys, late evening in Thistlehold, and as I'm, it's the same weather as I mentioned to Anton. There's a fine kind of rain coming down, and you are walking, I believe, towards the former Blue Moon trading post alongside Balmello. The Blue Moon trading post is in Halaban's Ring, as I mentioned. We've even got a picture of Halaban's Ring to bring up.
That sounds rude. Along with the gravitas.
Yeah, we could put it behind a paywall, I suppose. But
Peggy 18.
No, absolutely. That's the street of Halaban's Ring in all its glory. Although obviously it's nighttime and a bit grimmer and emptier at the moment. As you, is there any kind of preparation you've made, or any kind of thing you want to do as you walk along, or shall we move straight to the venue?
I'm 100% preparing for a fight at ground zero.
Yeah, my weapon is going to have been unsheathed. I'm going to be like kind of walking with it, like by myself, like maybe not like quite unsheathed yet, but my hand is going to be pretty much
your hands on the hilt,
on
the pommel of the blade.
Hilt. You know more about this than me,
sure.
But yeah, I'm expecting bad things, so I'm wanting to whip out my sword any given moment.
Sure. I saw the eyebrows. Don't worry. So yeah, and Theo, I presume with you, like you can be, tightening the straps on your armor and stuff like that, and just making sure. All right then. You, as a group, arrive at the front of the former Blue Moon trading post. It's got a sign on the front with a very rudimentary, literally just a blue circle painted roughly on a sign. The sign's half hanging off. The building as a whole looks like it's seen better days. There's very little repair that's been done to it, and most of the houses and buildings in Thistlehold need repairing, every couple of months, honestly, because it's primarily made of wood with some brick, and these things fall apart when they're a rush job, as the entire city was.
So is there a boreen or a snicket or a ginnel, just to use words that like 90% of our audience might not get, either side of it? Is it?
I know two of those words.
There's a snickle-way. Yeah, there's a snickle-way. There is. The front of the building has kind of no windows, it's largely a blank surface apart from a large-ish set of double doors which are closed, but there is a snickle-way down the side of the building where perhaps there is more available points of egress on the other side, and as you're kind of looking down it, as I presume you are if you've mentioned it, Balmello kind of quietly points to the passageway and says, "Take a look down there. I'll guard this front."
Is Balmello on his own, or is he with some of his?
He's on his own.
Okay.
Yeah, you take point, Ascra. You're the quietest.
I will head as quietly as I can down this snickle way.
I'll give him a good 30 seconds.
I'm very glad we're enthusiastically adopting the word snickle-way here.
Embracing the snickle-way.
Embracing the snickle-way. Most of us either live or have lived in or have at least visited the city of York, where the word snickle-way is still used.
Because there's the Snickle-way Inn.
There is a
Snickle-way, which is a pub.
And also many of the little alleyways in York are still referred to as snickleways, because we're nothing if not basically a British Victorian stereotype. So, are the three of you kind of heading down there with Ascarai kind of creeping ahead? Is that the kind of vibe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I kind of want to push get a good Ascarai a good 30 seconds head start, because he is the quietest, so he has the prize until I come in and save meal.
That seems fair. In which case, I'm going to ask for 2 discrete rolls. Firstly, could I get a discrete roll from Ascarai? And then if the other 2 of you are walking like as a little group unto yourselves, can I get a roll from you 2? Whoever has the lowest discrete can roll, please.
Is it just plain discrete?
flat discreet.
I did not
My
take-
discreet is 5, so I can't imagine yours is lower.
Yeah.
Mine is also 5.
Well, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter
It
then. So
matters.
whoever wants to roll is fine.
I failed anyway, so
Okay. And Ascarai, did you say you also failed?
I did also fail.
fantastic.
Wonderful. As Ascarai kind of creeps ahead of you in the darkness and sort of the eaves that are dripping down with the misty rain, Ascarai literally steps on a discarded pot that's just in the stick away, and it smashes open with a harsh sound.
Damn it, Steel. I say loudly.
It's probably me, in fairness.
Are you carrying on to? You can see ahead of you that the there seems to be access round behind the back of the Blue Moon.
Yeah,
I'm assuming you're continuing.
Yep. Nothing else.
Okay. Yeah, if there's anyone back there or potentially inside, it'll be a minor miracle if they haven't heard you by now. But, well, you can still try, right? So you kind of peek around the back. It's an empty kind of back alley area, just it's bits of trash and like scrap lying around, but nothing significant. The only thing on the Blue Moon about the height of one person up, there is a window, and by window I mean open hole in the wall. This is not a fancy building at all. Maybe it had glass in at one point, but it does not look to now.
Is this the only window we've seen?
Correct.
In the whole building? Okay.
Correct.
How high up was it? Sorry.
It's about the height of. It's about 6 foot high. So boosting up to it, very easy. Even like, if you're not a goblin, then just leaping up and pulling yourself in is possible.
I vote we send Ascarai for this job.
Yeah, I'll get my back to a wall and like prepare to give Ascarai a leg up.
I just shake my head a little bit and
resignedly
accept
Steer's boost into this murder hole.
Sure. Kind of shoulder your bow and up you go. Okay, sure. I don't think we need to roll for boosting you up there. Like I said, you could probably get up on your own, so with Steo's help, it's absolutely fine. I am assuming, however, that you're going to try and be quiet as you do it.
Yeah, when I'm like up near the window, can I, before like going through it, can I listen to see if I can hear any sounds coming from inside?
Absolutely. Give me a vigilant roll, please. At let's say a -1.
Okay. I make it.
There is a noise coming from somewhere inside this building. Maybe voices? They don't sound like they're coming from the room you can see, which is the entire building. Like the entire building is one quite large sort of, clearly at some point it was a trading post, but not in a kind of village store kind of way like the one in Glimmervan or busy ones. It basically looks like it was literally a place where trading material would come in, maybe be sold immediately, maybe some of it kind of under the counter, and then moved on to other places. So it's like a combination trading post and warehouse, for which purpose this room needed absolutely no decoration or furniture whatsoever. It is one large, empty, almost barn-like structure. You can see some crates piled up, some of them actually quite handily near the window you are, some crates over in a distant corner, and like you think you can see one of them like in the middle of the room as well. But all you can see from is the light, like the kind of dim moonlight shining through this window. So, okay,
I will.
Sorry, your original question. Yes, you can hear something like voices, but it doesn't seem to be coming from anywhere in this room.
Okay, I will whisper down. I think I can hear someone, but I don't see anybody. I'm gonna go in and take a look.
You just be nice and quiet, yeah.
Hopefully there's no pots inside.
There's no entrance on the ground level to this at all. There's no kind of
other than but they're not where you are. There are the front doors that Balmello is standing by. You presume that's where you left him.
You see,
not that I'd ever try and cast doubt as to Balmello saying he'll do what he says. I mean, you've got no reason not to trust the guy.
No, but tactically, I'd love to have Ascarai upstairs and everyone else barreling in the front door, just standard breach like. But
I mean, there is no upstairs in here essentially because it's
okay,
one
so
big
it's just one big room.
So I guess you could lurk on top of some of the crates, but
if possible, I think I would possibly Ephania would. After hearing that Ascarai's heard voices, she would like to try and join him because, he's a relatively small, lithe halfling, and she figures he could probably need the backup.
Now is not the time. Yeah. Okay. So you can. I will kind of nod to Effie to take the next Steel Express to the first floor.
Sure. If you are doing that, obviously, Ascarai, you will have to descend to the floor because more than one person can't occupy this window space. I mean, it is the window is like 5 foot. No, not even 5 foot. Like 3 foot by 4 or something. It's not a big window.
I'll head through as I was planning to onto these crates that are piled nearby.
Absolutely. Can you give me now you're in here? Can you give me a vigilant roll at +1, please?
Okay, I make it.
Okay. You're kind of on one of the crates that lead down. You can see the room a bit more clearly now. Yes, there's the pile of crates you're kind of bouncing on. There's a pile of crates almost in the opposite corner, one of the corners by the door, and there's one solitary crate in the middle of the floor. Over in the other corner, because the corner with the crates in on your side is on like the left, and over in the right-hand corner from where you've come in, so to the right of you, there is what looks like a slumped humanoid shape in the corner.
Okay. I will...
The floor underneath it looks to be marred or marked by some kind of dark fluid.
Could be anything.
Substance. Could be anything.
Okay. I will try and very quietly get enough away from the window so that F and Air can get in, but very quietly.
Okay. Did I ever ask you to? Yeah, because we didn't make the discreet roll yet, but right because you did the look around first. Okay, give me a discreet roll at -1, please.
Okay, please no pots.
No pots.
I made it. Hooray!
You made it. Hey. Okay. Whereabouts in the room are you going to?
I'm going to kind of shuffle towards the possibly alive human.
Sure. Ephania, are you now? You can see all this scene now as well. Are you kind of descending down to the floor as well? I assume.
Yeah.
Cool. No worries. Can you give me? Are you trying to be stealthy?
I'm trying.
Sure. Can you give me a discreet roll at -1, please?
Got to roll a 4. I'm good at this. This is going to be great. There is no way that this is going to go wrong. Look at all my dice, by the way, guys. It's very happy. It's a good time.
Nice dice. Nice.
This is bull. I rolled a 5.
Oh no. Okay.
What was that?
Ascarai, F&A kind of thumps to the ground behind you as you're kind of walking away, like off the crate sort of thing, and kind of lands in a very F&A way with a grunt and a sound of the feet hitting the floor, and you kind of pause a second, and then turn around and presumably try and get a better view of this huddled form in the corner.
I definitely sigh as I hear F and A hit the ground, but yeah,
sure.
I'll head over to this.
You take a pace forward and an odd sound starts.
can I tell where it's coming from? Is it?
Oh,
from
it's coming from the thing directly in front of you. The thing that's slowly clambering to its feet.
The dead human.
It wheels to its feet, takes a step forward, and the moonlight actually hits it now. This looks, in the theater of your mind, a fair approximation of what a 2-week-old flayed dead human would be if it was moving around.
Squelchy.
It's holding a crowbar in one hand and a long chain with a hook on the end of it in the other. Its jaw is just clattering repeatedly.
How far is this from me?
About 6 feet, and it looks very intent on coming towards you.
Okay, I'm gonna.
I draw my sword, my not
Yeah.
evil cursed sword.
Can we go into an initiative order, please? So, John, can we have an initiative order up with these three? And I think it's probably not spoilers to refer to this mouldering thing as Garrick, is it? Because that's who it is. So, yeah. Was. Oh, no, we do need Steo as well, please.
Ah.
He could still...
Yeah,
he's going to take some time to get in there, but...
Gardening, lads. I'm gardening.
Yeah.
It's grand.
All right, Mangold.
There we go. So, Askarai, what are you going to do?
I think I would have had my bow before, but not after. I wouldn't have had it while going through the window.
I agree.
So I don't think there's space or time, so I'm going to draw my dagger.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think there's going to be much escaping, so I'm just going to move and try to slice it.
Yeah, no, that sounds reasonable, and it's a pretty understandable reaction to this thing coming towards you of just ah! Yeah. Okay, give me an attack roll then, please. The thing that was Garrick, its defense is at a +2, so you can add a +2 to your attack roll, which I believe is discreet for you with your knife because you've got feint. Is that correct?
Yeah, and with another +2 for it being faint, basically.
Nice.
So I need a 17.
Yeah, it's not desperately trying to get away from you hitting it.
I got a 16. Hooray.
Nice. What is your damage roll then? I need a pen.
I think it's a D6 and a D4.
Ooh.
The D4
Nice.
is for...
Is that again from the feint?
Yeah, the D4 is from the feint and the D6 is just the dagger.
Nice.
I got 7.
Nice. Not bad at all. You got hit in then before it inevitably dies to Ephenea's first strike. Your gut instinct is to draw this dagger and you kind of lash out more swiftly than it can respond and kind of lay open the muscles, or what are left of the muscles, across its chest and its belly. Things start to slop out of it and drop wetly onto the floor, but it doesn't seem to notice. Ephenea. It's how far... I don't think we've really determined how far we move. I think it's actually fair to say it's going to take you 2 moves to get over to it, because this building is very large, and you've kind of come out and dropped down these crates on one side of it, and then it's on the other side. But I think you can at the very least engage it this turn if that's what you wanted to do.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay. You already had your sword out, right? So
Yes.
it's just a case of charging over there and trying to get sort of in the way of it. Are you... Because I know on any of your turns you can go berserk. Are you berserk now?
I'm not, because I think I'm just because there's only one of it, and
Sure.
I think I'm like shocked by the sight of an undead flayed corpse. So I have not entered a berserk rage yet because I'm just
Sure.
a bit shocked, really.
I think that's perfectly fine. Well then, in response to that, the artist formerly known as Garrick, is going to attack Askarai, and it can attack twice against one target in a turn. So, can you roll your defense for me, please, at a -5?
It's gonna be tricky.
Oh my god.
It's tricky. Tricky.
I did not make it.
Okay. Give me an armor roll then, please.
I rolled a 3. Which is
Okay. It lashes out with its crowbar and kind of catches you on the backswing as you're coming back with your dagger in it. It doesn't kind of doesn't break any bones or anything, but it definitely knocks your wrist back in an uncomfortable sprain. Take 2 toughness, please.
Okay.
And then roll your defense again.
Is it the same? The same
at -5. Yeah, I'm afraid so.
Okay. I definitely did not make it.
Okay. Didn't get a 20 or anything, did you?
Nah, I got an 18.
That's a shame. So, yeah, give me another armor roll, please.
Okay, please something good. I got another 3.
Another 3. Okay. At the same time as it lashes out with the crowbar, it kind of brutally and mindlessly whips the chain forward with the hook on the end of it, and it doesn't catch over your shoulder, but like the chain is now draped over your shoulder, and the hook slams down on your back painfully. Fortunately, not penetrating it, but there's definitely gonna be bruises. Yeah, take another 2 damage.
Ouch.
Your pain threshold isn't 2 by any chance, is it?
Not quite. It's 4. So
that's a low pain threshold. So yeah, there we go. Steo, I think it's safe to say that you've heard the sounds of fighting. Have Askarai, Ephanea, have either of you made any vocalizations about this?
I think I probably would have made like a kind of like what the hell is that sort of noise, but and possibly would have called out Askarai's name, like asking if he's okay when after he's been attacked by the thing.
So with that in mind, Theo, I mean, I don't want to assume as a GM, but I'm guessing you want to get up there quick, sharp.
Yep. Traditional Ambrian heavy infantry 6-foot wall breach, just like we did in training 40 years ago.
So I'm going to give you the option. If you've got to get up by yourself and quickly, you can either roll strength for this to kind of power your way up there, or you can roll quick to try and climb, in a more dexterous sense. It's your choice which one you take. And you know what? You know what? Take a +1 on it as well, because you've pushed 2 people through this already. You can figure your way out up to it.
No, I'm 100% just barreling through it without.
Yeah, just leap.
And I make it comfortably.
Nice.
Just leaving a steel-shaped hole in the wall.
Yeah. So he basically just
like the Kool-Aid guy.
He just pull-ups himself up and just heaves himself over in a kind of demented Fosbury flop. And crashes down on the pile of crates. You don't do any damage to yourself or anything, but you're kind of like staggering around and trying to find your feet. So that's definitely everything you can do this turn. But you've definitely got yourself in there, and you can take in the scene now as well. The horrible chattering noise of the thing's jaw hasn't stopped for a second since it started this attack. But let's go back round to the start here. So Askarai, the battered and bruised Askarai, what are you getting up to now?
I definitely don't want this thing to get more attacks on me if I try and move away from it. So I'm gonna try and stab it again.
Sure.
With more effect. That wasn't too bad last time.
It wasn't too bad at all. You're quite with feints. That dagger is really quite dangerous. Although I did forget its armor, didn't I? I did forget its armor, so that's a little better. Sorry, did you do 7 damage?
Yeah, that was
right,
that was my damage
that
roll.
was right. You did 7 damage, but that reduces by that much, which I should have remembered. Really, God, maybe this is why everything dies so quickly.
I think it's
okay,
outrageous
yeah.
it even has armor. It's not even got skin.
That's very true. Yeah, and it is listed though. The stuff like in the book, it is listed that the armor is like a leather harness, but then also it's listed as having natural armor, and that's why it has armor, because it's just like a horrible undead abomination thing. So like weird, but either way, I'm using the stat I'm given. So yeah, give me an attack roll. Its defense is still +2. Like I say, it's not particularly interested in not being hit.
I managed to fail. I got an 18.
Oh dear.
Oof.
Oh dear.
Bad roll today.
Yeah, maybe because the crowbar has knocked your wrist, but you don't get enough power in the return swipe, and you're clear of it by a good 2 feet, as it readies itself for another assault. Effanea, though,
has entered her berserker rage.
Yeah, shall we get this over with?
Been attacked.
Yeah. Okay, and you're using the Black Gift, right? Yeah.
I am using the Black Gift.
So before we attack, give me a resolute roll, please.
Before this time?
Yeah,
Rude.
Why not?
Rude. 10. Which
what's your resolute?
is I was like, a resolute roll. What do I have to hit? My resolute is 10.
Okay, that's fine. Make your attack.
Jeez. All right, cool. So, what do I what do I have to roll? Sorry, what do I have to hit?
It's a +2. So, but do you roll against strong, right? Because
I roll against my strong, so it's same as Ascari 17. So
yeah, because you've got whatever it is that does that.
Iron Fist.
Iron Fist. Yeah.
Infinitely better than the TV show. Yes, 16. Jeez.
So give me your handful of dice rolls for your damage.
Excellent. All right, cool. Where's my D4? There it is. And where's my D12? That's not a D12. Finding my D12 is always a pain. There we go. Right. Let's do this. 3, 4, 5. 6.
6 in total.
So not great.
Not great.
Not great. 2 or 3 and a 1.
A fight can continue. So you kind of basically you slash too early. You're suddenly enraged by the sight of Ascari getting pummeled by this thing, and you kind of, as you're running over, you start slashing them. Maybe you should have held your ground first before striking, and the tip of the blade kind of slices slightly through its thigh, and there's kind of spatter of congealed gore on the floor, but it doesn't really seem to register it much beyond that. Garrick is going to attack. You know what? I don't think it'll really notice what Effanea did, if it's capable of noticing anything anymore at all. So it's going to just carry on attacking Ascari. So Ascari, give me a defense roll at -5, please.
Okay. I made it. I got a 4.
Hey! So it swings wildly with the crowbar and misses you with that. But now we get to roll for the chain with a hook on the end, which is a much more horrible weapon to imagine being hit by. So give me another defense roll at -5 again, please.
I got an 8. I think that's exactly what I need. That's what I need. My defense is 8.
Cool. Yeah, you just leap backwards out of the range of it, kind of slightly intimidated by the fact that you can't even seem to get it with your dagger. Maybe panicking slightly even. Who knows? Definitely. I've cast your good dice rolls as you panicking, so, don't take my word for it. Steo, I'm assuming you're getting the hell over there.
Yeah, I'll try and close. Which I suppose is my turn, I think.
Yes. Now, here's the question. Your long weapon allows you for a free attack when you first engage something. But since this is already engaged, does that count? I don't know.
I think it would count if it was engaging me. I think if I'm closing to it and it's already in combat, I think it's fair to assume it's going to take me a turn to get there.
Sure. Okay, well, let's say you're over nearby there then, and also because it is engaged now with 2 people, I believe that means you can try and flank it next turn as well.
Take advantage, yeah.
So there we go. But let's spin back to the beginning. Ascarai.
I'm going to reattempt to dagger this stupid chain monster.
Sure.
Hopefully it goes better. Yeah, I got a 3.
Okay. So give me a damage roll, please.
Okay, come on. I got a 4 total.
4 in total. Yeah, your dagger basically like you go for a stab at its side, and the dagger just slides off the slick giving surface of the rotting muscles along its ribs. So you're not sure you really achieved anything. Ephenea.
All right, I'm going to attempt to whack it.
Although before you do...
Although before I do, let's see how I'm going to... I think I've had to make, 3 or 4 resolute rolls?
You've made them all, yeah.
So this is going to be the one. Yeah, a 19.
Oh, okay. Oh, a 20 would have been nice. So, okay, just go ahead and make your attack roll.
Oh Lord.
So it'll be a +2.
Yeah. I don't make the attack either.
Oh.
God, I'm like Mike of combat.
I think Mike is the Mike of combat. You give a great kind of heaving swing of your sword, and it passes clean over the thing's head. It didn't duck out of the way consciously, but it was kind of lurching forward towards Ascarai and managed to coincidentally get out of the way. You give a kind of involuntary cry of rage in your berserker state. Steo, Ephenea doesn't seem to have noticed it, but Nightblade's sword is erupted in black flame.
Okay, one problem at a time. I don't think there's a mechanic for me to kind of get in front of Ascarai to take aggro from him.
No, there isn't.
I think
you'd have to disengage.
I think the better tactical decision then is to play advantage and make my normal roll.
Oh yeah, sure. I believe the undead monstrosity does go first, though.
Yeah, of course. Sorry.
That's quite all right.
How rude of me!
I forgive you. So I don't feel like the thing has any reason to stop attacking Ascarai, because it's probably getting quite frustrated now. So Ascarai, give me a defense roll at -5, please.
Right. I made it. I got a 5.
And another one then, please.
I got an 8.
Oh, that's a bad miss, right? For your defense, I mean.
That A is exactly my defense.
It's exactly what you need. It's your defense.
Yeah.
Not bad. You're just kind of like sort of maybe backing up a bit and cut sort of as this thing just kind of flails quite wildly at you. Out of the corner of your vision, you kind of are aware of an odd kind of like flashing, burning thing happening on the edge of your vision, but you really don't have time to concentrate on what it is. And you also see the form of Steo sort of doggedly pounding past the thing and like wheeling to try and get a blow in at its back with his halberd. Speaking of that, Steo, you can use your movement action to move behind it and flank it. You're not engaged with it, so it doesn't get a free attack or anything. And then you can attack with advantage. So I always vaguely forget what an attack with advantage is, but that might be at least partly because I don't have my cheat sheet up, which is very silly of me. Attacks with advantage.
I think it's +2.
Yeah, it's a +2 to the
roll.
roll and an extra d4 to the damage. Yes.
Yeah.
So your attack roll will be at +4 because of its +2 from defense. I think you're on mute, mate.
As long as I don't botch, we're good. Oh, delightful!
Ooh, nice, very nice. Are you so for that?
Yeah.
What was it again? So it's a perfect hit. Yeah, you get a +1d6 to your damage roll, right?
Okay,
so you get your damage plus d6 plus d4 for damage, flank, perfect hit.
Oh, highlights reel, gentlemen. Highlights reel. Damage. Oh, 1 damage on the d10.
Classic.
4 damage on the d6, so 5 altogether, and 4 on the d4. So 8 plus 1 is 9 damage in total.
9 damage in total. That's pretty solid. Kind of Askarai's already seen Steo kind of dodge past the thing, but Ephenea, in the middle of your state, you are quite surprised when the tip of Steo's halberd sort of erupts from its shoulder and then kind of withdraws as Steo gives a kind of pulling it back out. One of its arms goes it goes limp in that it is obviously hanging off, but the one holding the crowbar, but it doesn't seem to stop it from like just whipping it round, like it's just become just a flail with a crowbar on the end of it. Whatever he did obviously did a lot of damage to it. There's a horrible mix of coagulated blood and bits of bone and muscle dripping out of the thing. But again, it doesn't seem to be feeling anything at all. So we roll back round to the beginning. Askarai, finish it off.
I'm feeling a bit better now that the cavalry have arrived. So I'm going to try and lay into this thing again.
Sure.
I made it. And for damage, I got 6.
6. Okay. You basically, as the halberd pulls out, it sort of twists the thing round, and you take the opportunity to kind of dodge in. And again, you kind of learned your lesson from the stabbing. Clearly, there's too much mush there to really go for stabbing. So you just kind of swipe across again and leave another sort of scored cut along its side, and then kind of quickly try and dance back out of its range.
Definitely.
Ephenea.
That is me.
No resolve roll needed. It's fine. Attack. It's fine.
As in, like, do my damage roll now?
No. Like, make an attack roll. But,
got it, yeah.
You don't need. I'm saying you don't need to do a resolve roll. The thing that the resolve roll was holding back has happened.
Oh no! Oh no! 19. Ephenea is impotent this fucking round.
You can feel a surge of kind of burning rage running through your body. It seems to be starting with the in your hands as they grip the black blade, and you give another kind of wild swing. You can't really tell this because you're in the middle of it. The other two of you, you've seen Ephenea in a kind of berserk rage before, but this is different. She is screaming at the top of her lungs, kind of in incomprehensible words in her to your ears, to Steo's ears, maybe incomprehensible barbarian language. She seems to have very much lost control. But
well,
you know,
at least
she's
my terrible
control.
rolls are good for the role play.
Sure, yeah. With that in mind, Garrick. Now, who do I think Garrick is going to attack at this point?
He's scared of me.
Yeah, I think I think the thing is aware enough to know roughly where an attack is coming from, but not sensible enough to actually wheel round and engage Steo. So it's going to remain engaging Askarai and Ephenea, but I think it'll attack Ephenea. It's probably also quite interested in this fascinating black fire that's erupted on the edge of its vision. So let's have that. Efanea, roll your defense at a -5, please, which means you want a 1, right? Because your defense is 5.
Yeah.
But a 1 will always succeed, and a 20 will always. Maybe it won't actually, but I'm gonna say it's silly. Otherwise, they're like auto attacks, right? So
I'm using my phone instead of the dice
I think they are though, aren't they? Because we determine that you should auto hit something if it. Because weren't you auto hitting the goblins or something like that?
No.
I think we still roll in case we got 20.
Yeah, but I think it'd still be a hit. It'd just be like a fumble, right? I think that's
well, I got a 9 either way.
PC takes a free attack from the target. Yeah, the damage received is Either way, you got a 9. So give me an armor roll.
Yeah. 2.
Okay. So the arm, the kind of limp arm holding the crowbar, whips around, and as you kind of desperately flail at it with your blade, the crowbar catches you across the back of the head. Again, not a horrible injury; it hasn't crushed your skull or anything, but it's certain you can feel like blood running down and like a very sore, ringing sensation. Take 3 toughness, please.
Oof. All right.
And give me another defense roll.
All right, just give me 1 second for I am
trying to work out how. If anyone in chat has a clear idea of what we're talking about with rolling 1s and 20s on these things, then let me know. But I think the idea is like automatic hits can happen in this game. It's just obviously if you roll a 1 or a 20, different things happen.
All right. So another defense roll. Did you say?
Yes, please. A -5.
Yeah. So I got a 2.
That's great, while also being pointless. Yeah, give me another armor roll then, please.
Okie dokie. Oh, yikes. 4.
Okay, yeah. The chain and the hook comes around at you, and you have enough presence of mind to kind of reel back from it. And the hook kind of sort of scrapes along your upper arm, essentially, just kind of like pierces through your leather and then scrapes and takes the skin off with it. Take 1 toughness.
Okay, so that's 4 in total, yeah? With last.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
Got it. Yeah. Not too bad. Okay. This thing is proving difficult to put down. Steo, you can still take a flanked attack if you want.
Yes, please, if that's okay with everyone here gathered.
Wonderful. That's an attack at +4 then.
Okay, yep. So I get a 6, which is not a botch, which is all I need to do.
Fantastic. Then give me your damage roll, please.
6 plus 1 is 7, plus 4 is 11.
3 rolls?
Yes, because...
You didn't get a perfect hit on this one, did you?
Oh, fudge bags.
You shouldn't have the plus D6.
So now the plus D6, which was a... hang on. No. Technology. I've got a history mechanism here. I rolled a D6 and I got a 1. So it's 10 damage.
10 damage.
Nice.
So you rolled a 9 on the D10. Wow.
No, it's a D12 for the...
Oh, you rolled a 9 on the D12, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Okay. You see that it's kind of slowly trying to turn its attention onto you and sort of step to the side again. And the last blow certainly seemed to work. So you kind of try and measure as it's thrashing around a bit, thrust again, and this time for the 2 on the other side, you see its face essentially explode from inwards as Steo's halberd thrusts through the back of its head, and it instantly turns into dead weight on the end of your halberd, Steo, instantly, and you have to kind of almost tip over as it crumples to the ground with a thump and kind of the rattle of the chain hitting the floor.
Nice.
We are out of combat. you are aware of kind of a soft thumping on the front door.
Oh, fuck, what was that?
Am I still, like...
No, you could, like, roleplay dropping out of your berserker state, but I don't think there's anything mechanically that makes you kind of have to stay in it and know the effects of the Black Gift will wear off as your berserker state wears off.
What about the sword? Is the sword still on fire?
No, the sword has extinguished itself.
Right. I just need to figure out the order of events here. Askrai, I'd like to patch you up. Effie, could you get the door and invite our somewhat tardy accomplice to the meeting while I get Askrai patched up here?
Aye, sure. So I'll pop off to open the door.
Probably kind of like panting slightly and wide-eyed. Do you think, Elle, that Effanea was even aware that the sword was on fire?
Not like the way that it was described. She was just I think she was just very much like she was in the moment. She was very just pure rage. She could know was she wanted to kill this.
Absolutely. And I think Steo may have been the only one who really had a good look at it.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely on my list of problems. I just it's getting to the top.
Sure. Lower down. So yeah, Steo. Go ahead and make a Medicus roll on Askrai.
Yeah, so Medicus,
just a cunning roll, I believe.
Yeah, which is not my best stat, but let's give it a go. Yeah, I made it. Cunning is 11. I rolled a 10.
Cool. And is it a D4?
It's 1d4 unless I have a herbal cure, which I do not.
No, I believe.
I can have her.
There we go. You can. Yeah, because I believe Anton has the herbal cures from last time on his person. Cool. Enjoy your one toughness, Sam. There you go.
Just a little makeshift kind of bandage to keep all your inside bits inside and your outside bits outside.
Yeah. That's right. I want.
Most of his was battering and bruising, so maybe you tape up his wrist.
Yeah, that would make
heighten
sense.
it so it's less floppy. Elle, the front doors just have a simple kind of like bar over them, so you could just lift that up and open them if you want.
I will.
Okay.
So,
you do so. Balmello is standing out there and says, "Problems?"
I feel like we would have had significantly less of them if you were there to join us in the fight.
As you can clearly see, the door was locked.
Did you not think to come around the way we did?
He rolls his eyes slightly and steps around you and starts walking towards Steo and Askrai and the body on the ground.
I'll make a "you're welcome, come in" gesture.
I would like to try and get over to look at this body before Balmello gets there.
Okay.
Just to see if there's anything on it or...
Sure. Go ahead and you can make a vigilant roll. I think it's quite dark in here. So I'm going to put a -2 on it, but
I make it.
You kind of look over the body. What's left of it? It looks to have been rotting for some time. There's no clothing. There's no kind of jewelry or personal possessions of any kind. Obviously, it's skinless. There's nothing really that you can determine from it.
Okay. I guess this must be Gerak, but...
Balmello kind of takes one knee next to the body and looks over it himself and says, "It fought you?"
Yeah.
Took a lot of hits to put down as well. Reminds me of the enemy in the war.
What else is in here?
I was just about to ask. Are there any sign of a basement or other zones in there?
I mean, you can. There's no obvious kind of, opening or stairs down or anything. But like some of the floor is covered by, obviously there's the crates in one corner, crates in the other corner, and there's a single solitary crate in more or less the middle of the room.
That's what we got. Are the crates? The crates look kind of the same age as the building, like they're just leftovers.
They do, and they're kind of partly broke. A couple of them you can see are broken. It looks like they're empty.
Well, if we're searching, we may as well search everything. I'll go and try and lever open one of the. Actually, I'll take that crowbar that was being used against us and use it to open the crates.
Sure. Whereabouts are you starting this?
Start in the middle.
In the middle, with the crate in the middle.
Yeah. That's...
Okay, sure. As you kind of get to the crate in the middle, kind of start to lever off the top. You think you can hear voices coming from underneath the crate.
Okay. Can I just get everyone's attention, just without talking? Kind of like wave everyone.
Okay,
point down.
Yeah. Carmelo's just kind of striding around, looking up at the ceiling, the floors,
and he's not paying attention to us, is he?
Oh yeah, he'll see you as you start waving.
Okay. So I'm going to step back with the going to step back, ready my halberd, and push the crate away, assuming there's a void underneath.
Kind of with your foot, sort of thing, or
yeah,
sure. As you do so, light kind of shines up on your face. There is a hole in the floor directly underneath this crate, and it seems to be leading downward in a set of very old-looking, worn stone steps. Below you, there is... you can hear what you think are two voices coming up from below. One of them is low and indistinct, and maybe like consoling or pleading. The other one, you are unsure of how human it sounds.
Okay.
I'm going to get my bow out.
I'll go first then, shall I?
I will draw my sword, because I don't know that any of this crazy stuff has happened with it.
Balmello reaches into his voluminous cloak and draws out a short sword.
Okay. Gentleman and lady, I'm not going in here to take prisoners. Whatever the history or providence of the events that happened tonight are, if I see that skin-walking mage, I'm going to try and put him down. So if anyone wants to do anything diplomatic, let me know now before I go down these steps.
No, I have had just about enough of the dead not being dead. I'm happy to run them through also.
Balmello says, if the crown is there, stay clear of it. It may be beyond your ability to deal with.
A good remembrance, thank you. I will. I suppose I can't barrel down the stairs just because they seem precarious.
No, they're spiral for a start. As I say, they look old, very old, way older than Thistlehold. And as you kind of start to work your way downwards, you can see that what you took for kind of a rough opening in the kind of wood floor of the Blue Moon, there are walls as you're coming down, old stone walls, grey stone. At various points are kind of pillars holding up the sides, which seem to have odd slashed marks along them. Ascarai, you recognize them as script that is sometimes found on old what did we say? Symbaroum
Yes.
ruins in Davokar.
That's a bad sign.
It occurs to you that maybe the borders of Davokar weren't always where they are now.
No, they weren't.
You descend. Are we making attempts at stealth?
Oh yeah.
Sure.
No.
Fair enough. Is Steo? I think that's the important question, because Steo is the one.
I'm taking point, and I don't think I am. I'm just going to be kind of walking down carefully and making sure I'm never in a position where I'm prone, but absolutely just going down the stairs.
Sure.
Okay, well, after seeing that they aren't bothering, I will just...
If Steo isn't, I don't think there's much point in anyone else rolling for it, so fair enough. After 30 seconds or so, it's not terribly long and deep, but certainly deep enough to be odd. You are below any other basement in Thistlehold, that's for sure. You emerge into a medium-sized stone chamber, maybe half the size of the Blue Moon trading post above. The walls and the floors are kind of flagstoned and old grey stone in exactly the same style as the spiral staircase you've descended. The spiral staircase itself kind of on one side of the room, but not kind of flush against the wall, just jutting out a little bit into it. There are kind of two things to talk about in this chamber. One is that sort of directly ahead of you and over to the left-hand side, there is a rough by means of age, not by means of craft, stone plinth jutting out of the ground. It doesn't seem to be in a drag there. It seems to have been there for a very long time. Perched on the top of it is a perhaps slightly innocuous-looking, verdigris-covered, slightly moss-covered skull. That as you take a couple of steps forward from the spiral staircase, you can see at the top of it, fused to the skull over centuries or millennia of the passage of time, is a copper crown.
Nope.
On the wall, fully ahead of you, not too far from the crown, are two individuals. One of them is a very large man who has been secured against the wall with many lengths of rope. His body is covered with odd, festering wounds, some of which are kind of at the creases of his body. So his, the inside of his elbows and around his collar. He's letting out an odd, low mumbling noise, which Steo, you recognize as the slightly inhuman voice you heard. You still cannot determine what he is saying or if he's saying anything coherent. At some point, he had kind of long, shaggy hair, which is somewhat coming out, and a beard, which again is now patchy. He's kind of hung forward and kind of shaking his head slightly as he makes these unpleasant noises. In front of him, and because of the way the light is bracketed against the wall on either side of him, two torches thrust into gaps in the wall, is a figure kind of shrouded in shadow, a kind of slight, shortish figure, which you can only see from the light kind of coming off, so not entirely clear. They are leant forward, and one of their hands is kind of gently caressing the side of the man's face who's tied up against the wall. Their arm goes down, and they turn slowly to face you. It's Master Vernum, stood there in the light from the brackets on the wall. And as you watch, Master Vernum reaches out, grabs a knot of hair at the top of their head, and pulls down a strip of their skin. It comes off cleanly, although gore kind of drips down from it onto the floor. Underneath, you can see the pale skin and almost pupilless eye of a changeling looking at you with inscrutable intent. What are you doing?
I'm going to stay very calm. I'm going to dismount from the spiral staircase, and I'm going to make my way clear of it to allow the next people to come out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to take any immediate action this turn because I'm really interested to see. I'm just really interested to turn the page. Turn the page.
Sure. I take it that Ephenair and Ascarai are similarly kind of descending and arraying themselves.
descending, hand on hilt of sword, just like, what the fuck? Well,
Sure.
what the heck is this? Yeah.
Balmello is also kind of stepping down behind you. He kind of works his way across the back of you and stands to the left, like a bit forward, sort of almost placing himself between the three of you and the crown. The changeling takes another step forward, and another strip, without them grasping it, just starts to peel and sort of run down the side of their face. And they say, "You would have done the same for someone you loved."
Ephania, to be honest, quite offended at this statement, will step forward and pull out her sword. She's not going to attack yet, but she's visibly angry and just going to shout out that I have many that I love, and I would not stoop to such depths. What the hell are you playing at?
Oh, sorry. One more thing I should have mentioned about this room. It isn't like an aha. I should have mentioned it. There's a massive trap. No, it's like there's like a small cot in the corner that seems to have some like rudimentary possessions and clothing and a couple of books nestled on it. Sorry, I should have mentioned that. It's not terribly important. It's important, but not terribly important for what's probably about to happen.
I don't want to fight an undead baby, Matt. I don't want to fight an undead baby.
No,
not skewer a child.
Not like a child's cot, like a bed.
Traveler's cot,
a rudimentary bed, yeah. No, yeah, not a. There's a pram in the other corner, but
yeah, all right, cool.
So what's creepier, pram or pushchair? No. Yeah, the changeling is now kind of taking great handfuls of Master Vernum's skin and flesh and is drawing it down over his body and kind of flinging them onto the floor. And now it's just a kind of wash of gore around the changeling standing there completely naked in front of you, just drenched in Vernum's blood. He reaches down and grasps two swords off the floor, kind of holds them in a ready pose and just waits.
I'll just turn to Steel and Ascarai and just be like, well then, let's kill this bastard.
Did you touch the crown?
Are you saying that to the changeling?
Yeah, just kind of shouting, somewhat rudely, kind of cocking my head to the side and kind of talking over you to him.
Don't address him.
Was that Balmello, was it?
No, that was the changeling telling you not to address the man on the wall.
Oh, I was kind of talking to you, but both answers would be helpful.
We all touched it.
Okay. By whatever powers are vested in me by Mayor Nightpitch, I sentence you both to immediate death. I'm going to attempt to going to ready my weapon and go for a strike.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Okay, John, can we go into initiative, please? With you can just. It doesn't really affect it. Do we know the name of the changeling, or has he only ever been referred to as the changeling?
Just the changeling.
Just the changeling. That's fine. Then there's no need not to do that. So, John, can we have initiative, please? And can you insert into it Balmello, the changeling, and we will also need Gorak putting in.
To gore, to rack.
Sorry, not. It's really confused. There's two characters.
Did you mean
in
Gerek?
The story called there's two characters in the story called Gerek and Gorak. I don't know why. I don't know why. Yeah, the first victim is Gerek, who's the body.
Gorak is the goblin, right?
No, Gorak is the guy tied to the wall. He's the leader of the expedition that found the Copper Crown.
That was
and his
yes.
companion / second in command / partner / lover has only ever been referred to as the changeling, which is who clearly is the Flayer.
Yep,
that's changed as a bad name.
Yes, absolutely. Ascarai, what are you doing?
I'm going to shoot at the changeling.
That seems like a that seems like the thing to do. Yeah. Can you give me a roll at -4, please? The changeling's defense is -4. For once, it's a defense that defends.
I did not make.
Okay. You kind of swiftly draw and loose an arrow, and the changeling turns to the side. The arrow flickers through the air and off the stone wall behind him. Okay. Are you doing anything with your movement action or anything like that? I imagine not, probably. But
yeah, I'm not going to move forward, and I'm probably as far back as I'm going to get. So
sure,
stay around.
Okay. The changeling is going to delay their action. So, Ephenea.
All right. I will. Yeah.
That's my impression.
I'm in my berserky rage.
Going all berserk.
I'm going all berserk and all that jazz. And okay. I'm going to roll to hit. So -4. Yeah.
Yeah, you can definitely reach the changeling with that move. So yeah, you charge forward, swinging your sword. Anyone behind Ephenea becomes immediately aware that the sword erupts in black flame.
Okay, that's getting higher on the old problem list there.
Yeah,
I'm literally saying that.
Yes, it's an it is an attack at -4, please, Elle. Yes, thank you.
No, that's a whole lot of no.
Again, you charge forward, swing mightily with your sword, and the changeling. I can't do it because there's a thing behind me. Also, because I can't do it. Ducks backwards swiftly, and your great sword flies over his upper body. The changeling is going to go now. So he is going to attack you, and he also gets twice against one target attack. So can you? What does he attack with? Accuracy, I assume. Yeah, he doesn't have anything else, so it's normally accuracy, isn't it? If it's nothing else, yeah. Can you just give me a flat defense roll, please, Elle? So that'll be 5 because you're in berserk, right? I think you might be muted. Maybe.
Yes. Right. Nope. Just big old nope.
Just big old nope. Give me an armor roll, please.
It's like basically the fucking basis of this entire session for me. It's just been nope.
Nope. You've had a bit of a. You've
had a bit of an Antom, I think, is what we call it.
When the changeling kind of flashes as he ducked back. He flashes forward with one sword, and it just slices open one of your forearms. Take 3 toughness, please.
Yikes!
Hey, could have done a medicus roll, couldn't we, before we came down here?
Yeah. I thought Ascarai was the priority.
Give me another defense roll, please. Another flat.
Yeah. Yeah, just that's fine. Yeah, totally. Right. Another defense roll.
We need Anton to come back and start soaking up bad luck again.
Give me another armor roll. Start soaking up damage.
2.
As one sword comes around one way, the other comes around the other way, and leaves a similar wound, although not quite as deep, on your other arm. So that's another 2 toughness, please. What kind of toughness?
Got 6 health left.
Yikes!
Oh God.
To the eyes of the 2 of you behind, it definitely looks like Ephenea has run into more trouble than she might be able to handle. I'd say Ascarai. You know what? Ascarai and Steo, can you give me vigilant rolls, please?
Maybe, probably not, though.
Just a flat one?
Just a flat one.
Yeah, I feel.
I made it.
Okay. Gorak is having some kind of convulsion on the wall.
Oh, perfect timing.
Kill him while he's convulsing.
So, Steo.
I'm going to get myself in a flanking position on the changeling and attack. I think that's reasonable.
You won't be able to flank because I believe did we? I can't remember if I house ruled this that someone can engage 2 people at once. But I think it is an official thing. But the idea is you flank and then they engage both of you. I remember this coming out. Do you remember the fight with all the kind of jackal creatures and the elf disguised as a wolf in the
in episode 2? Yeah,
I just seem to remember that being the case. You know what? I'd actually say the reason you can't flank is because the changeling more or less has his back against the wall.
Okay, that's fair enough.
I'd say that situationally, even you can't really do that. I
will just make a normal engagement.
Okay. Do you get that free attack, do we think? Or did you, because he's already engaged with Ephanea, maybe not? No.
We didn't do it in the last round. It would be gamey of me to suggest
it would be gamey to do it now. But if anyone has any ideas about that in the in chat, any contrary ideas, let us know. But yeah, you can dash forward and try and get a good thrust in on this changeling.
Yep, we'll go ahead and do that. Did you say it was -4?
It is -4.
Okay, so I need.
Turns out you get a good defense when you're naked.
Yeah, should try that in the future.
Naked with very good quick.
Need to roll better than 11. Oh wow, 19. I fail.
Again, you kind of thrust, and the changeling just rolls out of the way, and stands there again in a ready pose, waiting for one of you to strike. Baumello, I'd say that only Ascarai can see this. Baumello is dashing at full speed towards the Copper Crown, and kind of has like one hand extended with his cloak, and with the other kind of bundled up in more of the large, not cloak but coat, kind of knocks the crown off the top of the pedestal and into some kind of pocket, or who knows what goes on in the recesses of Baumello's coat.
It's like some Mary Poppins bag, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like he's just going to pull out like an entire army to help us, right? That's his turn.
I'm sure he will, and I'm sure he'd love to help.
He's definitely on our side.
Yeah, so Baumello has secured the Copper Crown. I am aware that as players, alarm bells are going off with this. But given what he said... We haven't seen it. Well, Ascarai has, but given what he said, I'm guessing Ascarai's like, oh, he's making it, getting it, and keeping it safe, or something.
Yeah. No, I'm fine with him taking the very dangerous thing away from me. I've got that's even lower on my problem list than the Human Torch over here.
Sure.
Yeah, I think Ascarai thinks that this is a relatively expected thing for Baumel to do. Like, seems good-ish.
So, Ascarai, what are you doing?
I'm going to take another shot at the changeling if I can.
You absolutely can. Yeah, because there's no rules about firing into combat or anything like that, fortunately. I think we already determined that. So, yeah, go ahead and make a shot at -4.
I don't make it.
Okay. Again, your arrow... The changeling's doing some pretty nippy acrobatic stuff, and your arrow just flies past him and, again, impacts into the wall. Doing any movement stuff?
Can I just move? I want to move so I'm at the bottom of the stairs, not like
I'd say you're pretty much already there.
Okay.
Or if not, you can use your movement to be there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I want to be.
Okay. So you can quickly escape if everyone else dies.
No, my thinking is, even though I think it's good that Baumello has done this, he hasn't proved the most loyal, fighting companion always. I don't want him to just be interested in the crown and then run off up the stairs. So I'm just going to stand at the bottom of the stairs while continuing.
Sure. Being as you're at the bottom of the stairs, can you make me a vigilant roll, please? Let's say it's at a -1 because you're quite distracted, I'd say, but you're also in a good position. So
I made it. I got a 10.
Okay, there are multiple footsteps coming down the stairs.
Can I
heavy ones?
if I turn, can I see anybody?
No, you think they're far enough because it's spiral. You think it's far enough up that you suspect you won't be able to see who it is yet.
Okay, I will shout out. People are coming. Just
okay. F and A for one definitely doesn't register that. So I think you're on mute again. So yeah, I'm assuming you're gonna take another swipe at this good old changeling.
Absolutely. Let's see how well that goes. So let's see if I can hit something this time. I can.
Hey,
I can hit
there we go.
Finally.
So give me that hot damage roll. And whatever, I know you have a big combination of stuff, Elle, but add another D4 to it.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that's 4 dice.
Turns out black flames hurt.
True. They've also hurt my soul. But, you know, 1, 2, 3... Where's my D12 gone? I had it not that long ago. Right, let's do some rolls.
Some roll.
So we're starting off with 11. That's just 1 dice. 1 die.
Okay. You actually don't need to roll anymore, but carry on.
Okay, I just want to see what this is. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18.
Well, their armor, they're naked, so there's no armor. John's just asked me about corruption for stuff. Don't worry about that just yet, please.
Oh, Jesus.
We'll see to that in a bit. Well, although, you know what? No, I think you're right. Elle, roll me a D4. Cool. Can you note down that you have 4 temporary corruption, please? Thank you.
Sure thing.
So, the changeling basically can only avoid the arrows, the blades, the halberd for so long, and as it sort of twists half in the air to get out of the impact of Askarai's final arrow, you lean in, smack the changeling in the face with the pommel of Black Gift as it comes down to the ground, and then one single great draw across it, which lays it open from kind of shoulder to waist. It looks at you with a kind of puzzled confusion and collapses backwards on the ground with blood spraying out over you and over everyone nearby. With a horrific grunting cry, the man tied to the wall gives one last great heave of his body, and the flesh and skin just start tearing open down the center of his face and his body, and with a roar emerging from it, something you have seen before. Even though that Gorak was large, far too large to have come out of the form of Gorak that you saw tied to the wall. A huge creature, bare muscle, talons of bone, a odd crown-like bone protuberance from its head. You have seen a creature exactly like this before, emerging from the barbarian brothers. It takes a step forward off the wall. The changeling, with its kind of final breaths, reaches up and kind of weakly grabs on to the side of its torso and says, "I tried, my love." The abomination known as Gorak, or formerly known as Gorak, takes one step forward, unwittingly crushing the changeling's skull under its foot, and barrels forward into, let's say, Steo. Shall we say Steo? Let's say Steo. Why not?
Why not?
In my head, Steo was on, closer to that side. So, can you make me a defense roll at -5, please, Steo?
Yikes. I don't think we have criticals for this, but I rolled a 20.
That is good. That is good.
Good for
it's
you.
Good for him.
Good for the
narrative.
narrative.
It is good for him. So, if rolling 20, the damage received is increased by 3 before armor is rolled. Okay. Can you give me an armor roll, please, Theo?
Sure.
One you might want to cross your fingers for.
Yeah.
Oh god.
I guess that's 50-50. I got a 4 on a D8.
Okay. So what? Sorry, what does it say? The damage dealt is increased by 3 before armor is rolled. Falling a 20. Yeah. It's flat 3. Okay. So you rolled a 4, correct?
Yep.
Okay. How much toughness do you have?
I have 13.
Okay, just so I know what this looks like. The abomination just barrels off the wall at high speed and slams both of its talons into you, raking through your armor, clawing it off your chest, swinging you and just flinging you to crunch very unpleasantly against one of the side walls, where you kind of drop to the floor and kind of try and desperately reclaim your breath. You feel like your chest is just a mess. Take 11 toughness, please.
That's well over my toughness threshold, as you might imagine.
And over your pain threshold, I'd imagine, which is why I've already knocked you to the ground, because that was my choice rather than an extra attack. It does technically get an extra attack against you, but I feel like narratively, since it's just flung you across the room, I'm fine with that. So there we go. So Steo, what are you doing? I believe I believe you can try and make a quick roll to get to your feet without consuming your entire turn, or you can use your entire turn to try and get to your feet.
I suppose I will attempt to. No, I would not attempt to get to my feet quickly, because my character's overall aim is to find a good death. And this feels like a good death.
Sure. So, you slowly kind of try and clamber to your feet, kind of heaving yourself up on your halberd. Baumello has dashed over to where Ascarai is and says, out of the way, let them through. Those are my men.
I'll let them through. Where are you going?
I'm ordering them forwards, fool.
They're coming down the stairs. We need to fight.
Yeah, he doesn't look like... I mean, he can't escape. They're coming down the stairs.
I will get out of the way.
He just wants you out of the way. So he just wants you out of the way so that.
Well, why is he running towards the stairs? Doesn't he have a short sword? And isn't the thing the opposite way?
Sure. Are you having this conversation with him, or are you finding your bow next?
I'm not going to fight Baumello at this point, so I'm just going to get out of the way.
That seems sensible. Okay. As you do so, figures pour down the spiral stairs and kind of past you into the chamber. There's the ogre is there, and there seem to be how many will have survived that? How many of the henchmen survived the combat in the street?
We killed 2.
You killed 2. Okay, so there's 3 of them. The same ones as in the street, and they pour in behind the ogre, and all of them apart from the ogre are like, kind of like wielding their axes and ready to fight, but kind of shocked at the scene ahead of them. The ogre is just like got his great sword out and is like approaching the abomination, kind of sword held forwards. Ascarai, what are you doing?
I'm going to shoot at the abomination.
That seems like a generally good move.
I am extremely panicked at this point.
The abomination, its defense is +2, so you get a +2 on your roll.
Okay.
Well, not on you. You know what I mean. +2 to that. It's better. It's good. Yes.
I made it.
Hey, there we go. Give me your damage roll, please.
It's a D10. I got a 5.
Okay, then your arrow shatters on its flesh.
Welcome to Scary Town, friendos.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, so who's next? And wonderfully, John has already updated the initiative order. How lovely. Ephenea.
So yeah, I am dimly aware that.
Quick question. Sorry.
Yes.
Quick question. What is your corruption threshold? Well, I was about to say to you, you seem to, even in your kind of bloodlust, you seem to have got a grip on like basically when you kind of focus your hatred for your opponent forward, the flames on the sword surge. So you can now do that whenever you want. Every time you do it, it will give you 1d4 corruption. So maybe not right now.
No.
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 But yeah, I take it you're taking a swing for the abomination.
Yeah, like I say, I'm dimly aware of the fact that like it's thrown steel, and my hatred bubbles higher. So yeah, I'm gonna try and hit it. What's the
+2?
It's +2. All right, cool.
+2, yeah. It's easy to hit. It isn't take,
Okay, yeah, I hit it.
Excellent. Give
And
me
is it
them damage rolls.
Is it still got the extra D4 for my flame?
No, because every time you do that, that gives you +1
yeah,
D4 corruption. So I assume
Right,
you don't
cool.
want to do that right now.
No, I do not want to do that right now. Not even a little bit. All right. Cool. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Nice.
Yes, thank God.
So
That is what we needed.
That is definitely what you needed. So that's reduced by that. So it's down.
So it only has 30 health left.
No. Almost everything in this game caps out at 15 toughness because your toughness is just your strength, and the kind of soft cap for that, other than like real big bads, like real like dark demon lords of Davakar type stuff, like that will go over. But yeah, you're not even thinking at this point. Your friend has just been battered across the room. For all you know, he's dead. And you just turn and scream at the top of your lungs and slash out against the abomination, and its forearm just goes flying across the room as you kind of like wade forward, screaming and flinging your long sword in front of you. Yeah, that's pretty metal. So see, then it has a pain threshold. Seems odd to me, but it does nevertheless have a pain threshold listed. So with that in mind, do you want a free attack or do you want to? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Come on.
Do I attack with my 3 dice again?
Well, you need to make an attack roll first.
Yeah. Okay, let's try and hit.
I don't normally
we hit.
quote things from chat, but I'm going to quote Steve saying the forearm hit Steo in the face for 1d4 damage. Yeah, if you hit it, go ahead with another damage roll.
Lovely. 12, 13, 15 again.
15 again? All right. It kind of roars at the top of its lungs in impotent fury and dives towards you, kind of flailing with the claws it has left, trying to slice you open with its claws, bite into you with its sharpened fangs, gore you with the bone crown at the top of its head. And through your fury, you know enough. You take one step back with one foot, thrust Black Gift with the other, and the tip of your blade just goes directly through the base of its throat, out through the back, and it slides off and collapses on the floor, gives out an odd strangled wheezing noise, and immediately starts to decompose.
Yeah.
So we'll jump out of initiative order briefly. The ogre kind of comes to a stop and kind of nods in a fair amount of respect at you. The henchmen look deeply relieved. Steo is sort of trying to get up. Baumello turns to the ogre and says, "They're all corrupt. There's no redeeming them. Kill them all," and runs up the stairs.
fuck.
I'm so done with this asshole.
Sure. Let's.
I feel like we should have some sort of advantage because, like, they just saw me destroy this ogre. They should be a little bit scared.
They're faithful and loyal followers of the noble yet brutal witch hunter Balmello. They're not going anywhere. Can we just bring that initiative order back up, but with the abomination removed, please?
Great.
Thank you.
Just saying from chat, Steve called it instantly because obviously Matt said, now if we'll just briefly leave initiative, and Steve immediately commented, briefly.
Absolutely. So we're back. We can go back around the beginning. When the henchmen came out, Balmello kind of made sure to kind of herd them between him and the stairs, kind of between Ascarai. So they're between Ascarai and the stairs and him, right? So he's just dashed. What I'm saying is, Ascarai, you don't get a shot off on him.
Okay.
Should that be what you wanted to do? What do you want to do? Because there are 3 henchmen and a big old ogre with a big old greatsword.
Are there any henchmen between me and Fria and Steo?
No. I'm trying to think about how to sort of let's even try and. Can we draw it out? We can draw it out, right? So the chamber is... Oh, God. I've already failed at drawing a square. Yeah, let's say that Fria is there. Steo's there. Let's put a little plinth there. Ascarai, and then we've got ogre, henchman. And I don't know how well this will come through. I'll put the bad guys in circles so that you know where they are. Let's see if this experiment works. Yeah, there we go. That kind of works, right? So that's the room. Yeah. The bit at the bottom is the spiral staircase. The sort of square over on that side is the plinth. And we've got Fria, got Steo battered against that wall with Ascarai kind of further back here. God, I'm terrible at mirror directions. And then we've got they're in like a little not a shield wall because they don't have shields, but they're in a line.
They had shields.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
That makes sense. Okay. So Ascarai, what are you doing? You're not engaged by any of them yet, but they're definitely in melee range of you. So it's up to you if you want to try and back up first.
Yeah, I'm gonna
get behind Steo.
Yeah. I'm gonna back up. I want to be near to Steo, not to hide behind it, but to hopefully not let him die.
Sure,
I'm going to back away from them in the direction of Steo and kind of shoot as soon as I'm like plant my foot by Steo.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, you can back off over near him. And who are you shooting at? The ogre or one of the henchmen?
The henchman on the side closest to where me and Steo are.
Sure, that makes sense. All right. They're actually still a little bit wounded, I reckon, because some of them. Yeah, I think they're still a little bit wounded. Let's say they recovered 1 health. That seems reasonable in the intervening time. They still
this is like when you fight the final boss in a JRPG and you like get through its first form and you're like, fuck yes, and then it has a second form.
And then it turns into an ogre and a bunch of random dudes. Okay, yeah, fire an arrow at that henchman with a +2.
Okay, nice.
Fire an arrow at that henchman.
I rolled an 18, which is 1 too high. Fucking hell.
Could I spend an XP for a reroll?
You could, please. You wouldn't mind.
So, in that case, yeah, your arrow miss. You're quite panicked in the situation, which is, fairly understandable. Yeah. So yeah, you go ahead and you miss. Fria.
Yes. Sorry, itchy ear. So I am just fueled with rage and anger and hatred, especially at, Balmello's betrayal. Mm-hmm. I just beat 1 abomination, and now I've got this shit to contend with. I'm just barreling forwards and going for the biggest thing I can see, which is probably the ogre.
Oh, it's definitely the ogre. So yeah, go for it. His defense is a what? What is his defense? His defense is a -4, I think.
Oof.
Or a +4.
I mean, this is a big difference.
It is a +4.
+4.
Yeah,
nice.
he's got big old armor and he's huge and he doesn't tend to move. He just he's the kind of guy where you hit him with a sword and he goes.
Yes, so I hit. I definitely hit.
You hit. Give me a damage roll.
Watch, I've been like rolling like all this for. I'll be rolling well, and now I'm not going to roll. It's going to be
curse it, please.
You're gonna kill.
Oh no, it's okay. We've started off with an 8.
Nice.
7, no, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
Jesus Christ.
Christ.
Yeah, you charge forward and he kind of braces to duel you, essentially. You're better than him. You know that already from how he holds himself. You feint forward slightly and he attempts to meet your blade. You work round it and you leave a huge slash all across his face, down his neck, and he sort of shakes his head and steps backwards, bellowing with blood running down into his eyes and across his chest. Do you want... You've gone over his pain threshold because you rolled 17, right?
Yes.
Yep. Do you want another attack, or do you want to knock him to the ground?
I'm gonna attack again.
I
feel like
comes out.
If I only had like 1 dice, I feel like it'd be better to like knock to the ground. But since I'm rolling 3 at a time, I feel like I'm just gonna always take that like second attack. I mean, it'll please you to know that I rolled a 1 on my D12 for this one.
Did you roll? Did you roll 2 attack as well?
I didn't know. I will roll that.
Yeah, at a +4. So.
Yeah, no, I hit.
Cool.
I got a 12.
So what's the damage then?
The damage is 10 still.
10, even with a 1.
I rolled a 6 on my D6 and a 3 on my D4.
It's impressive stuff. He's not really, he's very distracted by the fact you've just dealt him an awful blow to his face and neck. And as he staggers backwards, you give a great thrust with your longsword, and it kind of pierces through his side and draws back out. He kind of slumps slightly to one side, but he's still wielding the blade. He's definitely a tough individual to kill, it seems. And now it's his turn. So he is
not happy.
He is not happy, and he's definitely going to strike at you. Can you give me a... Did I say that he had that? Oh, I should have noted it down. No, he doesn't. Can you give me a defense roll at -1, please? So you're looking for 4 or under in your case.
Yep.
Do the double roll thing.
I got a 4. I got a 4.
Ah! Yeah, you've dealt too much damage to him. He's blinded by his own blood, and he's just coming at you wildly, and you weave out of the way relatively
making my comeback.
easily. You are absolutely making your comeback. And now we've got the henchman. So, having seen this, one of them is going to dash at Ascarai, and 2 of them are going to dash at Ephanea. So, can we have, please, let's deal with Ascarai first, right? Ascarai, can you give me a defense roll at -3, please?
Okay. I did not make it. I rolled a 19.
Okay. Can you give me an armor roll, please?
Yep. A 1.
Okay. One of them charges at you with his axe and kind of steps in under your guard and swipes you hard across the face with the butt of his axe, kind of knocking you back, and you feel like something crunch. You're fairly sure maybe your cheek is broken or maybe your nose. Take 3 toughness, please.
Okay.
And Ephanea, please give me a defense roll at -3.
Okie doke. This is basically just kill Ephanea. kill FNA before. I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to use my big old dice for this.
Nice.
No.
Okay.
Nah.
Give me an armor roll then, please.
3.
Okay. This one basically just you're not even sure if they hit you or if they just knocked you enough that you took a wrong footing. You feel your ankle slightly give way beneath you. Take 1 toughness, and then give me another defense roll for the other henchman.
All right, cool. I'll note down that toughness later. Defense roll. Nope.
Another armor roll, please.
2.
Okay. This one definitely does do some damage to you. Steps in under your guard, slams his axe into your shoulder uncomfortably. It's not it doesn't get through your armor, but it's definitely kind of crunched down, and something is digging into you very uncomfortably there. Take 2 more toughness, please.
I'm on 3 health, guys.
Same.
Okay.
Still standing.
Steo, what are we doing?
Okay, well, one's engaged with Ascarai, and despite me being on 2 health, I am still able to attack. He is also the closest one, and I'm probably a bit too screwed to make any enlightened tactical save FA.
I think you can definitely flank one of them though, because all of them are flankable, I'd say.
So
they might then engage with both of you next turn, but I think for now they're not even considering you because they think you're done.
Okay, so if I have the opportunity, actually no, I'm going to take the one on Ascarai because he is our range carry.
Okay, sure. So make a flanking attack. So you've got a +2 to the roll, which has a minus. What did I say? Which already has a +2 to it, so it's a +4 to the roll.
Okay. Oh yes, thank goodness. So accurate of 15 +4.
Nice.
That is just the number I needed.
So give me your damage roll, please, and add a D4 to it. That's right. A D4 for the flank.
That's a 4 + 1 is 5 total.
5 total. Okay, you definitely you basically don't have the strength for a great strike. You're not sure how much it was, a damaging strike more than a distraction, but you definitely gave them whacked your halberd hard into their lower back, and they look much more wary as they kind of turn to engage the pair of you. Can we have everyone off screen and bring Mike on, please? Who has been very, very patient, both tonight and in the last couple of sessions. So big thanks to Mike for basically just sitting there for 2 hours.
I'll have you know I've been posting some nonsense in the chat.
That's good. Mike, you are dashing on foot at high speed down Halaban's Ring, which is where you were told they were by Dirac at the West Gate. As you emerge onto Halaban's Ring, the rain kind of still coming down, you turn the corner and see ahead of you a building a little further down the road. The doors to it are flung open, and a dark figure stands outside it. There's light, flickering light, coming out from the doorway behind them, and smoke rolling out and up, drifting into the sky above Thistlehold. The dark figure turns to you with a familiar shadow, the tall hat, the long coat, and turns and runs as fast as they can off into the night. And I think we'll leave it there. I hope you enjoyed that bit, Mike. You got a lot of agency there.
I really put my heart and soul into my role playing for that split second. There.
Yeah. Well, your reaction is what I live for, obviously. Bring everyone else on back. Yeah. It was clear there that he'd set fire to the blue moon on his way out, right?
Yes, there was smoke, and my brain didn't pick
And
it
light
up. But as soon as you said it, I then
yeah.
did.
Yeah,
I'm
there
not
we
the
go.
fastest, though.
I thought we'd actually wrap up tonight, but the combats do take a bit longer than I thought. So I'm not entirely sure how long it's going to take next week. How exciting! But we'll find something else to do. It's all good.
I'm glad that Antom's going to be around to identify our bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
it's like what I'm on 3 and you guys are on 2, right?
So
Like,
this is like the first sort of combat where it's like we talk about how brutal this is.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm literally stopping for the arachnophobic among you. I'm literally stopping for my audience, for John, for any of you lot. A quite relatively large spider. I'm literally climbing in front of the webcam there. So,
ooh.
yeah.
Oh, I don't like that.
No. So, yeah, as per usual, thanks everyone for watching. If you've got any comments or questions that you want us to address, pop them into the chat and John will hop on them. We've got links to all our social media down below, Twitter, Instagram, a link to our Patreon if you want to support us, a link to our YouTube if you want to go watch our VODs over there. Yeah, we've got another series on Monday evenings for Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition. That's only been running a couple of weeks, but it's really starting to get rolling now. So please feel free to join us for that. Symbaroum will be back next week at 8, as per usual. Will the characters? Well, who knows? But hopefully they are thrilled to see the end results of this story, because we are rapidly approaching the end of this story, which is titled The Mark of the Beast. Not my name, it's the name of the writers from Free League. Yeah. Anything from chat there? Anything to flash up? Anything anyone wants to say? Anything anyone here wants to say?
I wanted to say that, like, obviously this has been the first time when combat has been like spectacularly brutal, and I am actually quite like happy about it, because I think the thing is, like, it was at first, it was quite a novelty that Effie hit as hard as she did, but like, for example, like in this combat, I felt like, you know, there's this big thing that just, it was like very like anticlimactic roleplay wise, and there's a thing that just dealt like 11 damage to like Steel, and then like Effie takes it out in like 1 hit. So I'm quite happy that there's this like
it runs both
counterbalance
ways.
of like, I almost died.
I am slowly realizing that, Nightblade aside, I still think that was kind of, oh man, but like this feels a lot more like the Changeling. Even though you killed the Changeling in 1 hit, like, it's almost like the Changeling was fighting naked with a couple of swords,
and it did like
it still managed to like survive an entire round and a half. And like, I'm now appreciating that surviving a round and a half in a thing of combat Symbaroum is like, don't be like, oh man, that only lasted a round and a half. Be like, yeah, like the combat is so brutal that. That is impressive, sort of thing. I think like he made his mark, even though he only lasted a round and a half. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, if we didn't have Ephanea, we'd be so screwed.
yeah, right. There we go. Cool. Have we got anything from chat, John? I think I saw something up there. Do the books give example of how people speak, or is this just how you guys invented? Like, do you mean like the actual dialogue I've been using? There's very little snippets of dialogue in the books. The vast majority of what I do is my own thing. Or a paraphrased thing of what they've roughly talked about. But if you've ever like read pre-written stuff from Free League before, and I will caveat this by saying I absolutely love Free League, and they're my favorite role-playing company out there at the moment, doing the best work, I think, for kind of generalized mainstream quote-unquote role-playing people that there are there. Yes, that was enough vague praise. Kind of one of their little weaknesses, I'd say, and I don't know, maybe this is a matter of translation, because obviously most of it is written originally in Swedish, is that some of their pre-written stories can be quite vague, and it's like, well, that gives you the room for like improvising around it really well, but also on occasion, like with dialogue and things like that, you just kind of want to be able to quote something or to say exactly what happens. And I think for maybe, like, I think if you were a starting GM, you might struggle a little bit, maybe, depending on what your improvisation skills and background is. But
they do give a fairly comprehensive kind of character naming guide, which I don't particularly like it, and I think we've been talking backstage about it's not like having all the men have their names end in a certain letter, and all the women generally have their names end in their letter.
It's a bit weird to me, yeah.
It does, and it kind of takes some of the variety and diversity out of a normal.
It does, yeah. I think, but when you say examples of how people speak, like I'm assuming that's what you meant is like the dialogue. If you mean flavorful things like how I described like Gorak's odd kind of non-vocal, non-speech vocalizations, or like the chattering of Gerek's teeth and stuff, I'd love to be able to claim the latter because it's a wonderfully creepy little detail. But that is all them. That is a suggested thing. They do come with a lot of nice little creepy details, which is what I tend to throw in anyway. So there's usually twice the amount in mine. Dialogue, no. I think there's if you want to, for a look behind the curtain in this, I think the only dialogue that was inspired by anything written down there was I think it suggests that the changeling kind of calls Gorak my love at some point, and I threw that in a couple of times, but mostly when there's dialogue I just do it because otherwise I'm just reading off things or checking things or whatever. And the entire thing with Balmello is more or less the entire Balmello storyline has been completely reworked and redone by me from scratch. So because I didn't really like how it was originally in the story. So
he wasn't even really a character, was he?
He literally should turn up as a character. According to the story, there's a bit of variation, but according to the story, he should literally turn up just before you go to the Blue Moon. Literally wasn't in the story before that. Like the encounter with his henchman is in the story, but literally you shouldn't know him or have met him until you basically last session is when you would have met him. Because I read ahead from the first story, I was like, no. It's way more impactful if you find out he's not the real Balmello, if you've already met the real Balmello and interacted with him and like worked with him or something. So that's why I put him in there. Because the first story was thoroughly reworked anyway, because it like had to be a weird hybrid thing, because the prologue was kind of similar at the start to like how the first adventure starts as written. So then I had to jumble everything around. Didn't have to, but you know, wanted it to make sense for my telling.
Anyway, my sorry, apologies. My ribs have been acting up all session because of costochondritis, so I am going to head off. But It's been wonderful role playing as per usual. So adios.
Catch you later. Yeah. Again from 4242. Like in D&D, people talk like Lord of the Rings. Yeah. Like these and thous and stuff, right? It doesn't fit for Symbaroum, that kind of stuff at all. And if I'm running something like a Lord of the Rings game, I do tend to fall a lot more into kind of like that older like idiom, although not in a kind of with no criticism of how Americans do and Renaissance fairs and the like do these things. You know, it's not part of their culture, so why would they do it in an authentic way? But like not that kind of cheesy thee and thous. I tend to try and emulate a more kind of Middle English, Old English vibe, but like it doesn't feel right for Symbaroum. Symbaroum people talk like they talk now. Symbaroum is lock, stock, and two smoking barrels with an evil magical forest, and like that's the vibe I get from it. It's grim, gritty. It's like, I don't know why I'm saying not just saying Game of Thrones, like because that's I guess the more modern idiom and dialogue, like the fantasy that people are familiar with, where that's the case. Yeah, people should be like swearing and using relatively modern idiom and language in Symbaroum, I think. Which is why I do it like that.
I feel like it fits well.
I think so. Anything else from anyone else? Because time is ticking on, my friends. John says he wants to watch that. Guy Ritchie does dark fantasy. He did that, didn't he? He did a King Arthur film. That's meant to be shite, I think.
Oh, that's like I say recent. It's probably still about 20 years old because I am patient.
It's only 2 or 3 years old, I think.
Is it? Okay.
And I think the idea is it's basically like his Sherlock Holmes films, but just King Arthur instead.
Oh.
Which is like, just make another one of the Sherlock Holmes films. They're great.
I think I've seen it.
Is that Guy Ritchie? The Sherlock Holmes film?
Guy Ritchie, but I've seen that King Arthur film.
Am I just mistaking it for the fact that there's elements of those Sherlock Holmes films that look like they're Guy Ritchie things?
I think he did go. I think that he did the Sherlock Holmes films. Yeah.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Which are very good. If you don't agree, I will fight you. I think they're very good. I won't fight you, or I'll fight you and lose. One of the two. All right, let's wrap it up there. We've rambled on long enough. Thanks to John, as always, our stream manager, doing a fantastic job. Thanks to Mike, Sam, Chris, Elle, and thanks to you, the loyal viewer. And we'll see you next week, next Wednesday, 8 o'clock, more Symbaroum. Hooray. Goodbye.
Bye.